Do you remember the vibrant melodies and dazzling dreams on the stage of fame, where young stars captivated the world in the 1980s? From explosive dance moves to soul-touching notes, fame became a symbol of passion and hope. But behind the glittering lights were dark secrets, sudden deaths from illness, unimaginable tragedies, and shattered lives lived in silence. In this video, we'll uncover the shocking truth behind the cast, the stories they kept hidden, and their net worth in 2025. Like, subscribe, and let's dive in. Gene Anthony Ray as Leroy Johnson. Gene Anthony Ray was born on May 24, 1962, in Harlem, New York. In 1982, at just 20 years old, he made a huge splash playing Leroy Johnson, a rebellious yet incredibly talented street dancer, in the hit television series Fame. Despite having no formal training, Gene won the hearts of millions with his instinctive dance style and raw, haunting realism across 110 episodes. But in real life, his story was darker and far more tragic than his on-screen characters. Gene once attended the High School of Performing Arts, the inspiration for Fame, but was expelled after just 1 year for being too wild. During filming, his mother was arrested for drug trafficking, a bitter reality that haunted him throughout his career. Though he continued acting and even sold out the Royal Albert Hall with the kids from Fame, Gene's career began to decline in 1984 when he was fired for missing over 100 days of work, right as his mother was sentenced to prison. He spiraled into alcohol, drugs, and a life without direction. From a shining star, Gene quickly fell into homelessness, at one point sleeping on park benches and living with an adult film actress in Milan during a failed attempt to open a dance school. In 1996, he was diagnosed HIV positive but still tried to keep working, appearing as a backup dancer in music videos, taking small roles in films like Out of Sync and Eddie, and even doing soda commercials. Still, his career never recovered. In June 2003, Gene suffered a stroke. Just months later, on November 14, 2003, he died from complications due to the stroke combined with AIDS. He was only 41 years old. He never married, had no children, and died alone and penniless, with a net worth of only around $5,000. His funeral was made possible thanks to donations from former colleagues and fans. A final farewell to a forgotten genius. Carlo Imperado as Danny Amatullo. Carlo Imperado, born Anthony R. Imperato, was born on August 3, 1963, in the Bronx, New York. In 1982, at 19, he became a fan favorite playing Danny Amatullo, a witty, energetic, and quick-talking teen in the hit TV show Fame. Over 110 episodes, Danny became a symbol of vibrant youth, but the role cast a shadow too large for Carlo to escape throughout the rest of his career. After Fame, Carlo turned to off-Broadway theater and began teaching acting to teens in Los Angeles. But the spotlight had dimmed. His first marriage to Andrea Eck ended in 1995, despite having a son together. His second marriage to Kimberly Green lasted only 2 years. His third marriage to Angela Imperato, beginning in 2000, remains a rare bright spot in a turbulent personal life. They have 2 children, but financial hardship continued to follow. In 2004, Carlo Imperado officially declared bankruptcy. 2 years later, he lost his home in Burbank, California. At times, he worked retail jobs and gave acting lessons just to make ends meet. He gradually sank into depression and grew distant from several family members. Although once engaged to actress Nia Peoples, 1986 to 1987, his life eventually took a quieter turn. Now, at age 62, Carlo Imperado lives a simple life in a rented apartment in Studio City. He's semi-retired, occasionally appearing at Fame fan conventions, but mostly spends his time living slowly, facing aging health issues and the regrets that linger. His current net worth is estimated at just around $30,000, a modest figure for someone who was once a national TV star. Debbie Allen as Lydia Grant. Debbie Allen, born January 16, 1950, is a multi-talented Hollywood icon. In 1982, at age 32, she made a lasting impression as Lydia Grant, the tough, inspiring dance teacher in the hit TV series Fame. Her iconic line, "Fame costs, and right here is where you start paying in sweat," brought millions to tears. Debbie wasn't just an actress. She was also the series' lead choreographer, shaping the very soul of the show that ran for 6 years. But behind the limelight were years of hardship and perseverance. As a young girl, Debbie was rejected by the Houston Ballet Academy simply for being black. At 16, she was turned away from North Carolina School of the Arts for having a body unsuitable for ballet. These painful rejections fueled her rise to become the first black woman to win a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a TV musical or comedy. Her career went on to shine with 20 Emmy nominations, 2 Tony nominations, and dozens of prestigious awards. She directed 83 episodes of A Different World, directed an Oscar segment, and served as an advisor on So You Think You Can Dance. In 2001, she founded the Debbie Allen Dance Academy in Los Angeles, where she continues to inspire the next generation. However, her personal life has seen its share of sorrow. Her marriage to former NBA star Norm Nixon, beginning in 1984, faced tensions due to their demanding careers. In 1986, she tragically lost her first child to miscarriage, a trauma that led to a brief period of depression. In 2021, Debbie suffered a heart attack and was rushed to the hospital. This health scare forced her to pause all artistic activity for a long time, focusing instead on recovery and balance. In 2025, at age 75, she remains alive and active as the executive director and lead teacher at her dance academy, occasionally appearing on Grey's Anatomy as Dr. Catherine Fox. Despite the shocks and losses she's endured, her current net worth is estimated at $3 million, a living testament to a life that never surrendered to tragedy. Albert Haig as Benjamin Sharofsky. Albert Haig, born Albert Marcuse, was born on October 13, 1920, in Berlin, Germany. When he joined the television series Fame in 1982, he was 62 years old, playing the role of music teacher Benjamin Sharofsky, stern, devoted, and deeply insightful. A seasoned composer by background, Haig brought rare depth to the character, appearing in 95 episodes and becoming a symbol of the revered artistic mentor. Few knew that behind his calm exterior was a dark past haunted by war. Born into a Jewish family in the heart of Berlin, he narrowly escaped being forced into the Hitler Youth. In a desperate move, his mother smuggled him to Rome. In 1939, he arrived in the U.S. as a refugee, relying on the sponsorship of an ophthalmologist to legalize his status. Though he escaped fascism, Haig carried with him the scars of war, undiagnosed PTSD that silently followed him throughout his life. He served in the U.S. Army Band during World War II and later became a successful Broadway composer, writing notable songs like Young and Foolish and the score for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Alongside his wife, actress Renee Oren, he performed at Carnegie Hall, forming a beloved artistic duo. Yet, behind the curtain, life held deep sorrow. Their marriage, which lasted from 1951 to 2001, went through severe trials. His mood swings from wartime trauma weighed heavily on Renee, who often suffered in silence. The greatest tragedy came in 1994 when their daughter John died in a horrific car accident. The loss plunged Haig into deep depression. He gradually withdrew from the spotlight, living in seclusion and cutting ties with much of the artistic world in his final years. His wife passed away from lymphoma in August 2000, leaving him even more isolated. Just over a year later, on November 12, 2001, Albert Haig died of cancer at the age of 81 in Marina del Rey, California. Though once a familiar face on American stage and screen, he died quietly, leaving behind a net worth of approximately $500,000, a worthy sum, but one that couldn't fully capture the loss, sacrifice, and pain he carried through life. Valerie Lansberg as Doris Schwartz. Valerie Lansberg was born on August 12, 1958, in New York City. She's the daughter of renowned producer Alan Lansberg and psychologist Sally Lansberg. In 1982, at age 24, she rose to fame playing Doris Schwartz, the intelligent, emotionally rich, and determined girl chasing a place on stage in the hit series Fame. Across 88 episodes, Lansberg's Doris became a role model for a generation of dreamers fighting to be seen. But off-screen, Valerie soon entered a fierce battle with herself. Just as Fame hit, she secretly struggled with alcoholism that had started in her teenage years. Though she worked hard to remain professional on set, her dependence on alcohol filled her with fear. Admirably, she quit drinking the moment she left Fame in 1985 and has remained sober to this day. After Fame, Valerie appeared in other series like You Again and All Is Forgiven, but never reached the same level of success. She pivoted to independent directing and screenwriting, but in Hollywood, where opportunities for middle-aged women are few, her path was anything but easy. Her marriage to Martin Pope, from 1985 to 2004, eventually ended, mainly due to prolonged financial strain and career pressures. Her darkest moment came in 2007, when she suffered a major nervous breakdown, leading to extended psychiatric treatment for anxiety and exhaustion. She withdrew from the entertainment industry entirely, leaving the spotlight to seek peace in academic life. By 2025, at age 67, Valerie Lansberg lives a modest life in Oregon. She teaches screenwriting to art students, occasionally sings, and is finishing a personal memoir, yet unpublished, chronicling her painful yet resilient journey. Her current net worth is estimated at just $45,000, a humble figure for a woman who was once a national television icon. Ann Nelson as Gertrude Berg. Ann Nelson, born Margaret Ann Barnes, was born on May 27, 1916 in Los Angeles, California. She joined the cast of Fame in 1982 at the age of 68, playing Gertrude Berg, the kind, lovable school secretary and emotional anchor for both students and teachers. Appearing in 63 episodes, her character was a gentle breeze in the tense, ambition-filled atmosphere of the performing arts school. But off-screen, Ann Nelson's life was marked by quiet sorrow. She went through 2 marriages, including a brief one in the 1940s to Stanley McDonald, which ended in betrayal and shattered trust. Though she had 3 children, she was estranged from her only son, who lived in New York, and spent most of her later years alone in a modest Manhattan apartment. While she held a few memorable supporting roles in Airplane, 1980 and 1982, and My Girl, 1991, she remained a familiar but minor figure, never prominent enough to escape financial instability. In 1989, Ann Nelson suffered her first stroke, which left her partially paralyzed and forced her to retire from acting. Her health quickly declined, and on June 2, 1992, she passed away in Los Angeles from a second stroke at the age of 78. Her net worth at the time of her death was around $80,000, the result of a lifetime of diligent work that was never fully recognized. Carol Mayo Jenkins as Elizabeth Sherwood. Carol Mayo Jenkins was born on November 24, 1938 in the United States. She is a veteran actress beloved for her portrayal of Elizabeth Sherwood, the stern yet compassionate English teacher in the series Fame. At age 44, she brought to life an iconic image of a devoted educator, appearing in 61 episodes and becoming the voice of reason amidst the emotional artistic conflicts at New York's prestigious performing arts school. However, behind the television fame was a quiet, sorrow-filled life. After leaving Fame, Carol continued acting in small projects like Matlock and Aaron's Way, but everything changed following a tragedy in 1989. Her only daughter, Sarah, died from leukemia. The emotional shock was so immense that Carol nearly abandoned the entertainment industry altogether, retreating into seclusion. Her marriage to stage director Paul Granger began to unravel after their daughter's death. The couple grew apart under the weight of grief and eventually chose to live separately, though they never legally divorced. Financially, Jenkins faced hardship as well. By the 2000s, she was relying on pension benefits, with film and teaching offers becoming increasingly rare. From 2000 to 2023, Carol rediscovered her passion through teaching, becoming an acting instructor at the University of Tennessee. There, she inspired generations of young performers at the Clarence Brown Theater. In September 2023, she officially retired after more than 2 quiet but meaningful decades of service to the theatrical arts. In 2025, at the age of 87, Carol Mayo Jenkins lives alone in Knoxville, Tennessee. No longer acting or performing on stage, she spends her time writing a memoir, tending to her small garden, and occasionally teaching acting part-time. Her current net worth is estimated at around $150,000, not a high figure given her television legacy, but a reflection of a life that chose artistic value and privacy over fame. Lee Carreri as Bruno Martelli. Lee Carreri, born Leonard Charles Carreri, was born on January 4, 1961, in the Bronx, New York. He became internationally famous at age 21 for his role as Bruno Martelli, the genius yet introverted pianist in the series Fame. Across 58 episodes, Bruno became a symbol of isolated creative souls, and fittingly, the character mirrored Lee's true self. After Fame, Lee never abandoned music. He poured his energy into composing and producing, working with renowned artists like Natalie Cole, Phil Perry, Olivia Newton-John, and even Hans Zimmer. He contributed music to films and TV shows such as Chicago Hope, Dangerous Minds, G.I. Joe, and composed commercial music for brands like Microsoft and Nike. However, despite his talent and versatility, Lee's solo music career never reached the success many anticipated. His passion project, the ambient and acid jazz album Aquabox, went largely unnoticed by the mainstream. Years of creative frustration and growing financial stress contributed to the breakdown of his first marriage to Angela D'Angelo, which ended in 2002. Though he later remarried Sherry Dean and had children, Lee continued to struggle in reclaiming his career the way he had hoped. From 2010 onward, he largely disappeared from the spotlight, refusing interviews and distancing himself from showbiz. He now lives a reclusive life in a small home in the San Fernando Valley, where he spends his days composing ambient music, rarely heard, deeply meditative, and infused with solitude. In 2025, at age 64, Lee Carreri is still alive, but has nearly vanished from public life. His net worth is estimated at only $25,000, a modest figure for an artist once recognized around the world. He occasionally appears at Fame fan reunions, but mostly lives withdrawn, keeping his distance from both former colleagues and family alike. Erica Gimple as Coco Hernandez. Erica Fawn Gimple was born on June 25, 1964, in Manhattan, New York. At just 18 years old, she made a lasting impression playing Coco Hernandez, a spirited, bold, and artistically driven student in the 1982 series Fame. Appearing in 54 episodes across seasons 1 to 3, Erica became the face of youthful ambition and relentless pursuit of artistic dreams, a role audiences around the world would never forget. But much like Coco herself, Erica's journey in the arts after Fame was anything but easy. Despite her talents in acting, singing, and dancing, Erica Gimple quickly encountered the harsh reality of the entertainment industry, where women of color were often limited in the roles they could play. Her career stalled, leading only to supporting roles in Profiler, ER, Veronica Mars, and more recently, God Friended Me. Though she continued to work steadily, she never reached the same height as during her fame years. Her personal life was also marked by sorrow. In 1994, she and her partner Daryl King suffered a devastating loss when their first child was stillborn in the 8th month of pregnancy. The tragedy triggered a long period of depression. Though she and Daryl drifted apart after the loss, she never publicly announced a separation or remarried, choosing to keep her private life quiet and guarded. Still, Erica never gave up on art. In 2010, she released her debut album, Spread Your Wings and Fly, a personal mantra to keep living, to keep rising. She also wrote music for film, sang in jazz clubs across New York, taught vocal performance and yoga in Harlem, and turned to poetry as a form of spiritual healing. By 2025, at age 61, Erica Gimple continues to live quietly but with dignity. Her net worth is estimated at around $50,000, a reflection of a life dedicated not to wealth, but to authentic expression and emotional resilience. She stands as a living testament to the story of an artist after the fame, where pain, failure, and perseverance walk hand in hand. Billy Huffsy as Christopher Donlin. Billy Huffsy was born on December 8, 1958, in Brook Park, Ohio. He joined the TV series Fame in 1983 at the age of 25, playing Christopher Donlin, a charismatic, confident singer and dancer full of ambition. Appearing in 49 episodes from seasons 3 through 6, Billy quickly became a teen sex symbol of the 1980s, especially after the release of a now iconic semi-nude poster that caused a sensation. However, once fame ended, Billy was met with the harsh reality of Hollywood. He was typecast as a youthful heartthrob, making serious roles and artistic opportunities scarce. Though he had a run on Days of Our Lives, wrote music for films, released the album Contagious, and toured globally, his career began to fade in the late 1990s. His personal life was no less turbulent. His marriage to Michelle Renee ended after years of conflict, with public disputes even making headlines. In the 2000s, Billy struggled with alcoholism and entered rehab, a dark period that ultimately became a turning point in his life. After appearing on VH1's reality series Confessions of a Teen Idol in 2009, Billy admitted he had lost his way and felt invisible in the very industry that once celebrated him. But from that moment on, he began a quiet journey of renewal, getting involved in community programs, performing at nostalgic events, and raising money for the charity Feed a Family in his hometown of Cleveland. As of 2025, at age 67, Billy Huffsy is still alive and living alone near Los Angeles. He has chosen a simple lifestyle, far from the bright lights of his youth, and occasionally performs to reconnect with longtime fans. His net worth is estimated at just $60,000, mostly from residuals and event appearances. Nia Peoples as Nicole Chapman. Virginia Nia Peoples was born on December 10, 1961, in Hollywood, California, into a family of performers. Her mother was a flamenco dancer, and her father had a passion for the stage. In 1983, at the age of 22, she joined the cast of Fame as Nicole Chapman, a talented, spirited girl with a tragic destiny. Appearing in 47 episodes, Nicole was one of the series' most shocking characters, dying in a car crash, a storyline that eerily mirrored the turbulence of Nia Peoples' real life. After Fame, Nia continued to shine with roles like Sydney in Walker, Texas Ranger, and Karen Taylor in The Young and the Restless. She also found success in music with hits like Trouble and Street of Dreams. But her career became defined by the strong, beautiful woman archetype, making it hard to break free from typecasting. Her personal life was even more chaotic. She went through 4 marriages, to Howard Hewitt, Guy Ecker, Lauro Chartrand, and Sam George, all of which ended in divorce, accompanied by years of emotional strain and child custody disputes. She has 2 children but struggled financially after each separation. At her lowest point in 2015, her beachfront Malibu home was foreclosed, leaving her nearly penniless. In an effort to rebuild, Nia pivoted toward life coaching and spiritual wellness. She founded the online platform Elements of Life, began teaching yoga, promoting healthy living, and often performed at Fame reunion concerts. Though her peak fame had passed, she chose to stay in the light, this time with intention and gentleness. By 2025, at age 64, Nia Peoples is still working and living in California, performing at regional theaters. Her estimated net worth is around $75,000, a number that reflects the ups and downs of a star who once topped charts, but has fought a lifelong battle with personal upheaval and the unforgiving nature of show business. Carrie Hamilton as Reggie Higgins. Carrie Louise Hamilton was born on December 5, 1963, in Los Angeles, the daughter of legendary comedian Carol Burnett and producer Joe Hamilton. When she was cast as Reggie Higgins in Fame in 1985, Carrie was just 22 years old. She portrayed a witty, strong-willed, and emotionally resilient student across 27 episodes in seasons 5 and 6. Creating a memorable character among the colorful ensemble of aspiring young artists. But behind the spotlight, Carrie Hamilton's life was a quiet series of tragedies. As the child of a household name, she faced intense pressure from a young age and fell into substance abuse at just 13. She successfully got sober at 15, relapsed briefly at 17, and then remained clean for the rest of her life. Yet the shadow of those early struggles followed her, leaving a scar on every accomplishment. Still, Carrie pushed forward. She built her own career with standout roles in Rent, Tokyo Pop, The X-Files, Touched by an Angel, and many other TV projects. She was married to musician Mark Templin, but the marriage ended in 1998 after 4 years. Her close relationship with her mother, Carol Burnett, became a major source of strength. The two even performed together and co-adapted Burnett's memoir into the stage play Hollywood Arms, but Carrie never lived to see it premiere. In the early 2000s, Carrie was diagnosed with lung cancer, which quickly metastasized to her brain. She died on January 20, 2002, at the age of 38 in Los Angeles, from pneumonia caused by cancer complications. Her net worth was never publicly disclosed, but is believed to have been modest, as she didn't accumulate significant wealth from her career. Her funeral was held at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery, and her artistic legacy is preserved at the Carrie Hamilton Theater, a creative space inside the Pasadena Playhouse that nurtures young talent, just as she once was. Cynthia Gibb as Holly Laird. Cynthia Gibb was born on December 14, 1963, in Vermont. At 19, she joined the cast of Fame in 1983, playing Holly Laird, a dreamy, sensitive, yet resilient young woman who appeared in 25 episodes during seasons 3 and 4. With her sweet appearance and heartfelt performances, Cynthia stood out in a cast filled with bold and colorful characters. After Fame, she achieved moderate success in both film and television, with roles in Youngblood, Salvador, Short Circuit 2, and most notably as Gypsy Rose Lee in Gypsy, a performance that earned her a Golden Globe nomination. She also drew attention for portraying Karen Carpenter in The Karen Carpenter Story, capturing the tragic arc of the iconic singer. But just as she was reaching her peak, Cynthia's life took an unexpected turn. In her 40s, she was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, a debilitating condition that left her physically drained and unable to bounce back even with rest. The illness completely disrupted her rhythm as an artist and forced her to step away from acting. Her marriage to producer Benjamin Clark, which began in 1994, also fell apart. They divorced in 2010, mainly due to financial strain and the stress of her illness. Although she has 3 children, Cynthia has rarely made public appearances since then, choosing a quiet, private lifestyle. As of 2025, Cynthia Gibb is 62 years old, living in Vermont, earning a living by teaching acting to teenagers and writing her memoir, a journey from teen model to TV star to a woman who now lives slowly and confronts the limits of her own body. Her net worth is estimated at about $50,000, reflecting a life that stepped away from Hollywood in favor of simplicity and healing. Michael Delorenzo as Michael. Michael Delorenzo was born on October 31, 1958, in the Bronx, New York, to a family of Puerto Rican and Italian descent. At just 23 years old, he was cast as Michael, a passionate, intense dancer, in the hit TV series Fame, appearing in 23 episodes across the show's first 2 seasons. With his chiseled features, impressive dance skills, and emotionally nuanced performance, Michael quickly emerged as a rising star on American television in the 1980s. After Fame, Delorenzo continued to shine in the series New York Undercover, where he played Detective Eddie Torres, a groundbreaking role that marked the first time 2 people of color led a primetime American TV drama. He earned several prestigious awards, including the Alma Awards and Imagen Awards, and became a symbol of Latino representation on the small screen. However, behind the success was a growing series of private struggles. In 2011, a self-funded independent film he directed failed badly, leaving him in serious debt. Unable to repay what he owed, he was forced to sell his home and became temporarily homeless, relying on friends for shelter and even living out of his car for a time. His marriage to Marissa Vega also ended in 2008 amid rumors of infidelity and financial conflict following his career downturn. By 2012, Michael had virtually disappeared from Hollywood. Once a sought-after name, he became typecast as the rebellious Latino, and as the industry evolved, roles dried up. Now, at 66, Delorenzo lives a modest life in Queens, New York. He earns a living teaching acting and directing in small theater productions, while also writing music and giving vocal lessons to young Latino community. His estimated net worth is around $40,000, a humble sum for someone who once stood at pivotal moments in American television history. The emotional journey of the Fame cast reveals a painful truth. Fame often comes at a steep price. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next shocking story. Who do you think paid the highest price for Fame? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.